Multi-faith chaplaincy teams build relationships with people in prison to support them during their sentences. Part of their role is to connect with faith communities in the community beyond the prison. But prohibitions and the pressures of the role often mean this doesn't happen. How could faith communities support chaplains in their work? What kinds of connections might underpin a real welcome?
Hello, Colin, chaplaincy? Yes, he has been attending quite regular. Yes, not myself, but my colleagues has been doing one-to-one with him. Not a problem. All right, take care now. Bye-bye. In the chaplaincy, it varies so much. It could be the induction for the new prisoners going to like the segregation unit, and also the lads who are on health care, because we have to see them every day. It could be a bereavement. One day is never the same. It's always different. So yeah. And now we're going to segregation unit. Hello, Maurice, what's happening? It's Colin from the chaplaincy. Colin from the chaplaincy, just checking if you're okay. How is everything? We're not going to see that other young person because we are advised not to see him because he is in a very hostile state at the moment. So. Yeah, but we would see when he's calmed down. Yeah. Within the chaplaincy, obviously there is things that we would want to do, but we can't because we're very restrained in terms of the bureaucracy, the regime, the whole system. I may have a good relationship with a lad working here. That lad would ask me the question, okay, Colin, is it okay that I could go to your church if I could see you when I go out? And that's where the relationship would have to kind of end, and I says, no, because I'm working here in the prison as a chaplain, I couldn't do that. Some of the guys who have dealt with here in the prison, when they get released and when they have been just transformed, and they might see me on the road and says, you know what, Colin, my life has turned around. I'm not going to prison anymore. I've got a job. I'm married. And I'm hearing all of these victory stories. And that's what just, I mean, words can't describe it. That's just absolutely awesome.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, welcome. So we're going to start today's session that we've been doing. So today's topic is on trust and honesty. Does anyone know the Arabic word for trust? Trust is amana, yeah? You build fantastic relationships with the women in prison. And as a chaplaincy, we go beyond the crime. You're meeting real people. How can anyone, when you've worked with women in prison, then even think that you can judge them? We're human beings. We are here to make mistakes, and it's recognising that. And I think for me, that's how our approach is in our chapel here. We recognise that we make those mistakes. We recognise that God is all forgiving and all loving, and we treat them like people. We give them that love and respect, and likewise we get that back. I think you've got to remember that while they're in a prison environment, they get so much support from the chaplaincy, and you build so many positive relationships, and it's recognising that individual for themselves, that personality, that character, who they are, rather than the individual crime or incident that they're here for. And for me, I think that's the hardest thing for those women once they've gone, to actually then leave here and cannot have a relationship with us as chaplains. Yes, I know there's many supportive institutions on the outside, you know, mosques and churches and other sort of temples, but it's building that trust with that individual from that place to be able to offload and talk about religion. Do I fit into that church or mosque environment? Will I get that right support? Is someone going to understand me? Or is it very rigid and faith-based and not understanding the wider picture of society and the world and individuals? This is the saddest part of it. We have to sort of basically cut off that relationship. We work with individuals when they're prisoners. We don't do the community chaplaincy part, but this is really important for us as a chaplaincy to build those relationships with those faith groups on the outside, so then we can refer individuals to somebody out there that you can go to and talk to.
When I get out of here, I don't want no repercussions. So when I get out of here, I don't want to look back. I wish to some extent that when I do get out, that I am not known as that the Asian girl that went to jail. Oh, so-and-so's daughter's been to jail. Don't want to be known as that. I just want to be, just to look at me and say, she made a mistake, full stop. And I don't want it to be like where I'm talked about, and I know I'm talked about, and to everyone to stare at me like something like, oh, she's just come from jail. I don't want that. I want that to kind of like go, but I know I will have that.
Oh! See you later.
And we won't be seeing you again.
But at the same time, I wouldn't move from my community, just because it's where I belong and it's where I've come from. But I would like it to change.
Sometimes I feel a little bit disheartened because I'm thinking they've had the right support here, they've got the right information, and once they leave prison, they're going to be out there. Is anyone going to engage with them? In Manchester, we've got a British Muslim Heritage Centre, and they do a lot of work, and then we've got the main mosque in Manchester at Victoria Park, done quite a lot of work with them. So it is positive, and we are making those steps, slowly, but we're getting in there.
It's real, yeah. Oh my God. Daddy and my brothers over there.
What they do up there? The chaplaincy is not here to force faith, but to show the love of faith. Whether they take it up or not, it's all about love, and for a Christian, it's love is centre. So he's got good family support, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's changed a lot since he's been in here, and we're just expecting him to just go from strength to strength now.
Remember me?
Say hello. Say uncle.
We need to now contact the church because we need to know how they're actually going to protect him in the community now. Not necessarily everybody needs to know where he's coming from, but they should have somebody or a group of people that he can work with who will know where he's coming from and support him as he grows up in that church, really. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There are less than 100 community chaplains working through the gate in England and Wales. The vast majority are employed through an association of charities and not by Her Majesty's Prison Service.
My name is Zishan and I am the Muslim Community Chaplain of HMPYOI Feltham. Community chaplain is a person who, as well as working in the prison, works in the community also, meeting different chaplains and meeting different faith organisations outside. So yeah, I do have a very good relationship with many different faith leaders around London. Whenever I go to different mosques and I deliver a sermon, I always talk about why our prisoners who are currently serving time in prison deserve a second chance, and what's the difference between our prisoners that we hold and their sons and their daughters or themselves. And it's making a difference because we are recruiting volunteer mentors at a very high number now. I work with young offenders. I think the best is just having that feeling, not deep down, that you've helped someone change their life from bad to good. We offer as an external organisation through the gate service into the community, and I support them by giving them a mentor who will guide them into the community.
Me being a young Muslim woman, it may come as a shock to some that we're allowed to go out, let alone mentor young prisoners, especially male prisoners. Being a Muslim woman, having my faith and kind of a different faith to some of these prisoners helps. They appreciate it. Someone from a very different background coming in with different skills but coming to help them. I think every religion is about becoming the perfect example of that religion, but it's been split into two silos, and the perfect example is now hiding away the vulnerable, hiding away those that don't match what we say a practicing Muslim is. Or I don't know, I'm sure that this is also for other faiths as well. But the reality is the role and the duty, not even role, the duty, it is obligatory, of a faith community is to provide a forum where everyone can practice safely. And to, again, personally, I think a mosque should lock me out and let the prisoners in. That is more of what they need to do.
So one of our women came in here and she had problems. I spoke to her and she was very upset. So we had her pray and invited her to come to the chapel services, and she did, she attended. Then she started attending the Bible study groups that we run here, and we just built up a rapport over the time. One of the things I spoke to her about was that we have ROTL opportunities, so that's release on temporary licence out to the Christian community. We work very closely with The Message, which is a Christian organisation in Wythenshawe. She went out working with them, but she's also got involved in their faith community. Well, the church is hope. That's what I'd like to see it as. It's hope, it's drawing alongside and saying, we know where you're at. We're not condoning what you've done, but we're there with you in the pain and in the positive things. And it's just walking alongside them.
Will you book out, please? Thank you. Going to the Message.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, see you later. Thanks.
It's such a nice environment, you know, to come into work. Everyone's happy. I think half the battle is actually coming to work in a place that you like working in. I'm very lucky because I come into work with a spring in my step and I go home with a spring in my step.
I started going into Styal prison last September. My job was to go in there and just to really start making connections with the women. But Ruth had already kind of started a faith journey because of her interaction with Lisa and other people. So when Bible study came up, Ruth was like, I really want to get to know more. I want to know more about what this faith is.
I got there, I didn't really know what to expect because there was only a few of us, wasn't there? And we ended up, having a brew and we were having a chat, and I did sort of I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask with regards to, the Bible and stuff, but then we were just talking about life in general, and prison and relationships and family, and every Bible study, it would be God-centred, but it was to do with our week and if things had been troubling us, or so we sort of developed a relationship basically. So I've become quite close to Natalie. If I hadn't have met Natalie in Styal, I don't know if I'd even be here at the Message, because I think it's through Natalie being linked in with the Reflex team, and I'm also working part of the chaplaincy team at Styal, and that links came together. I would have been terrified, and that's why I feel for me to be successful is to be rooted in Christ first and foremost, but I need the support from my church, my congregation.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we come to see, Lord God, the things of the Spirit. Lord,
I spoke to one of my bosses at the Message and I said to him, look, I really need a church to find within the community. And for some reason I was drew to this one, because we read Pathways to Progress and all the support that you offered on your website, and I thought, and it was more modern and more contemporary. So I asked Natalie to contact you.
Yeah, Natalie it was.
Yeah, to see if we could have a meet, because I didn't really want to just turn up here not knowing who the pastor was or anything about the church or anything like that. So for me, I was absolutely over the moon when you responded to Natalie's email and said, Yeah, you come up to the message and we could sit down and have a coffee.
Yeah.
I was nervous about meeting you.
At the message, was you?
Yeah, because I thought I've got to explain myself again.
Yeah,
Do you know?
yeah.
It gets sometimes a bit tiring just.
Yeah, I understand that.
Saying it again, and when I actually sat down and started talking to you, first thing that got me was you were so open.
Okay.
And approachable and on a level, really.
Right.
You know, he wasn't like a vicar or you know, like some like middle class person who's just sort of looking down the nose and do we really want ex-offenders in our congregation. And then he said to me, why don't you come down and basically see what we've got to offer and whether you like it or not and how you feel. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. So I went away and got permission from the prison to get day release to come here for the day. And you do make me feel welcome when I come here, so thank you very much.
You're welcome, Ruth. It's amazing. Look forward to the next step to the journey.
Yeah, definitely.
It will be great, be exciting.